Yeah.
And most of the things they've given us, they don't make sense. Why should you sit and think about something that's not even you, or emotions that are not you? Why should you have these emotions? If you're a baby, babies are happy because they're in the present moment. So you see many times you give them presents, they won't play with the presents, they go and they play with a plastic bottle because they like the plastic bottle, maybe the sound it makes or whatever. They're so happy
Yeah.
with it. And why aren't you playing with the expensive presents? I worked so hard to get it. What does it matter?
Welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that shaped how they see life, offering you daily reminders that you're not alone in this journey. Today's guest is Giorgio Michailidis, a heart-centered entrepreneur and author who lives by faith and speaks from the heart. Giorgio has spent decades building businesses while discovering that life's greatest successes come from alignment, when purpose, faith, and action work together. Let's step into Giorgio's world for a few minutes and hear the words that have guided him through both life's high and its most challenging moments. Tell me your name and, and a brief intro of who you are, what you do,
Sure.
and then you
Sure,
talk about the quote.
So
Yeah.
my name is Giorgio Michailidis. I'm Greek, but I've traveled to at least 30 plus countries. A lot of people see me as a person that helps them in many different ways, but I like to think that I'm more of a friend. But a lot of people believe I've helped them spiritually come closer to God, or just find their way in life. Maybe it's right in front of them, they couldn't see it, but somebody from outside can see it easier sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm currently in the United States business. I buy and sell businesses, and that I have also done by the grace of God. I've done nothing by myself.
Okay. So tell us about your favorite quote.
Well, I live by this quote. I live the last years of my life. And it's a quote where you find also in the Holy Scriptures is do unto others what you want done unto you. It's very simple. Very simple. If everybody were to live that way, I think we'd get away from a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the world will be a better place.
Right. If you put it into perspective, if you walk into a room and you talk badly to someone, and then you sit and think, wait a second, how would I feel if somebody talked that way to me? But nobody sits and just contemplate for a second, how would I feel if they did that to me? So you have to take a breath before any situation happens. You take a breath and take another breath if you have to, and a third if you have to, and then think, how do I respond? Do I respond the way that I would like somebody to respond to me? Or do I just say anything that comes out of my mouth? Hopefully, you want to do unto others what they do unto you.
The thing about this quote is most people don't, and it's not, when people share this quotes, they don't like, there's a traditional do unto others as you will have others do unto you. And it's a very, it's a perfect quote. But you see, yes, where the problem will come with, not, the problem is not with the quote. The problem is that most people, they hate themselves. Most people, they don't respect themselves. Most people, like the way they treat themselves, right? When you see, like, if they were to treat someone else the way they treat themselves, you would call them a wicked person. And so, trying to when you then say when you tell that kind of person do unto others as you have them do unto you, just like love the neighbor as thyself, right? It's hard for you to tell someone to love their neighbor if they don't even love themselves.
I'm afraid you're right in a lot of ways, but that has to do with the way we've been programmed from our families, from our culture, from our environment. A lot of people are programmed that way and they don't love or respect themselves.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they are not children of God. That doesn't mean that they are just like everyone else is. We're all energy, part of the same eternal force. We're all the same energy. It's just how you all you have to do is just tweak a little bit your thought. It's a little tweak, but that little tweak takes effort.
Yeah, very important, because now I'm looking at this, say, do unto others what you want done unto you, right? And I know this is, oftentimes what is common to one is not common to all. For some of us, we are privileged to have had an insight and experience that gives us helps us to see things differently, right? And so most persons, what they do to themselves, what they want people to do unto them, right, is not, it's not a very good thing. Now, they don't even know that thing is not a good thing.
Because we go back to what I told you before. It's where you grow up and how you grow up. Where are you located exactly?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. So you know very well what has happened to the entire continent of Africa throughout the ages. Now, people have been programmed to think a certain way. The same thing with other
Yeah,
countries. The same
yeah,
thing with other countries. It's just the few have always tried to keep the power. And if they tell you you're a child of God, they're not going to have a power anymore because you're going to be exactly as like them. So they can't tell you that. They need to tell us we're something different. We grow up and say, oh, this is bad. Oh no, you can never do that. Oh no, you can't. So somehow, somewhere, you have to do that little tweak, that little glitch that's inside, kind of change it on your own. You need to have something happen to you, maybe, for that to change.
yeah. For me, I know that, in back in school, there in math, there's an equation, and for the equation to be balanced, certain parameters must be put in place. And if the variable is constant and all those things, then the equation will be balanced, and the rules will apply, and the theories will apply, right? And I think that the very first part is having people know what it means to treat themselves well, and to what it means to, like, their lens, to change their lens of what they want for themselves. And the question I have is, how do we go about doing that? Because that's like the very important piece of the puzzle.
It's a very important question that you asked. And it goes back to what we just talked about, that it's all from the beginning. So if you're able to educate people, and I'm not talking about the formal education of books, like you said,
Yeah.
the math, the history, which most of the history is not true anyways, is again what people want us to.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the simple fact that you tell people, do unto others as you want done unto you from a young age. You teach that to the young boy and the young girl. You teach them to respect themselves. You teach them that, hey, you're not just flesh, you're energy. You're connected to something much higher. You're connected to the source. All of us are. Doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter if you're a woman. Doesn't matter if you're a man. It's just energy. It's but right now, this energy, you, me, we're manifesting here for some reason.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
education, that form of education.
Yeah. I mean, education is important, but you see, the dilemma that I'm trying to, like, wrap my head around right now is that oftentimes we don't know what we don't know,
So true.
right?
So true.
So, so I mean, there are things that we consciously know that, oh, I'm ignorant in this area. I should go maybe get a book on this, listen to a YouTube video on this, attend a conference on this. But then there are other things that they affect us, like there are belief systems that affect us that we are not even aware of, because these things are automatic, and so we don't even think of changing or even improving or getting better in those areas. So for me, the question is, how do we find the things we do not know that we do not know?
But you're absolutely right. Recently, I had a good friend of mine and her family. They live in Cuba. I don't know if you're familiar with Cuba. It's very
Yeah,
hard
Cuba.
situations. Most of the population tries to leave, and I was trying to help her and be positive about the whole, and trying to tell her, maybe you should meditate, maybe you should pray, do things. And she had lost hope. She says, "You don't understand." I mean, I do understand because I have been there many times. No electricity, no food, very difficult situation. So it's
Yeah.
very hard for somebody to think that way when your basic needs are not met. You don't have electricity to cook. Mosquitoes are eating you all day. You don't have fresh water. Those are those are real, very real situations. I don't know how to solve that, but I do know with one person that I can talk to, one person that you can talk to, if we can change something with them, then something's happening.
Yeah. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Like the quote is just so. Why do you think this resonates deeply with you? Do you have instances or stories you could share with us?
I think most of my life, not most of my life, most of my life when I started realizing who I am and what I want and what this saying means to me, I've been using it on my daily life every day. Whether I'm driving and I'm about to yell at somebody and I do it, and then I realize, whoa, what are you doing? How would you like it? If somebody swore at you
Yeah.
early in the morning, maybe the man had a problem. Maybe he just lost his wife. Who knows? So you have to be aware and constantly work with yourself. Constantly work with yourself.
We have to be aware, and we have to constantly work on yourself. I thank you for giving that examples of where, because the thing is, in the heat of the moment, we need to like really, because that's why I was like, we have to go to the core points where we really love ourselves. That, you know, because sometimes the things we do to other people is a deep sign that we don't respect ourselves, right? I'll give you an example. You're supposed to have a meeting with someone and you show up really, really late, right? I'm actually like, it's a sign of, because now I'm looking at do unto others. I'm looking at it as kind of like a litmus test, something to test how if someone really respects themselves, right? What they really want for. Because while it might seem like a command, it could also be that people do unto others what they want others to do unto them. I don't know if it makes sense.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I have written another book. It's called "Be Like a Baby."
Okay.
So it's a philosophy. So I will come to that. So I'll explain to you why. Because when you're born as a baby, you don't know any of this. You're pure. You come into
Yeah.
this life. You want to poop, right there. You cry. That's what you want. You want to eat. You cry. It's a food. You want to be happy. You're happy. You don't have anything else that society has given us in here.
Yeah.
And most of the things they've given us, they don't make sense. Why should you sit and think about something that's not even you, or emotions that are not you? Why should you have these emotions? If you're a baby, babies are happy because they're in the present moment. So you see many times you give them presents, they won't play with the presents, they're going to play with a plastic bottle because they like the plastic bottle, maybe the sound it makes or whatever. And they're so happy
Yeah.
with it. And why aren't you playing with the expensive presents? I worked so hard to get it. What does it matter? The baby wants to play with a simple plastic bottle.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that I'll rephrase it. I heard once from an Indian teacher, he said once, we are all diamonds. And we come to this earth, our soul is a diamond. The diamond reflects the sun. The sun is God, and we reflect God. But as soon as we are born, slowly the diamond starts to get covered with dust, with mud, with everything else. But it doesn't mean you're not a diamond. You just have to find a way to clean yourself again so you can shine. So I would like somehow to be able to help people find that diamond again.
Yeah. The thing about one of the things I've noticed that this is a daily show, so I interview different guests and the same idea, the same quote and philosophy, and I get to see that some of the quotes, they are actually intersections, even though they say it in one way, is actually said in another way. I'll give an example, right? One time a guest said, her favorite quote was, when we shine our lights, right, we give permission for others to shine theirs. Now I'm looking at this quote that do unto others what you want them to do unto you. That when you treat people well, sometimes you give them the automatic, like the permission, like oh, you should do this, right? You should be kind to people, right? You give them this liberation that, oh yeah, I should do this. I should respect this. Oh, I should come on time. Oh, I should talk to people more politely, because your presence of treating people well and talking to them well, just, it's automatic. It has nothing to do with words or telling people anything. It just liberates people. That, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't be cursing out when somebody does this kind of thing. That's not mature. Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
People are surprised sometimes if a lot of people are defensive or they have a different way of thinking. And all of a sudden, you have this energy that just says, I'm here, I'm listening to you, I can help you, how can I help you? And they're kind of shocked and their defenses are still up. Why? There's no why. I just want to be treated the way you would treat me. That's how I'm trying to treat you. There's no why. I have no other reason for it.
Yeah, very important. I think that's like, I want us to talk about the disclaimer, because most times people would hear and say, do unto others what you want them to do. And I think there should be a clause. You know how in laws they were like, oh, in this disclaimer, when let's say you teach financial stuff on the internet, you then have a disclaimer that this stuff is not financial advice. Before you make any financial decisions, consult your accountant or whatever. And this is my opinion, right? But I know even though this is a universal law, for the mistake I see most people make is that when they do unto others what they want them to do, they then expect and they then wait and then they keep tabs for people to do unto them what they did for them. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, you're making sense, but
Yeah.
you can't think that way, because then you're not doing it out of pure childlike innocence, because that's how you have to do it. You can't think what I'm going to gain out of it, or I'm doing it so you better do it to me. It can't happen that way. It's like if you're in love with a girl. I mean, maybe she doesn't reciprocate. That doesn't mean you don't have those feelings. And if you're waiting for her to reciprocate, what the hell? You're not going to enjoy your feelings? You have them. You can't just,
Yeah.
if she reciprocates, that's great. You get a relationship. But if she doesn't, you still have the feeling.
Good example. Because women be like, yeah, that stuff does not work. I was kind to people. People are not kind back to me. I used to give to people. People are not giving to me. And for me, I'm like, being kind to us, like, I know that you said those are what you want to that, but I feel like maybe I could be the one misinterpreting, but I feel like people misinterpret that, oh, he said what we want them, so we should want them to do us back. And so they have this mental list of, yesterday I was there, I helped him with this stuff. He didn't, now look at me now, I need the same favor. He's not even paying attention.
So they're going back to their training that they've had since they've grown up, usually family, society, etc. But if you look, let's say, in an unconditional love of a mother, she gives, she doesn't expect anything back. That's pretty much how we have to think of things. I mean, you can't unconditionally love everybody, but you can unconditionally do something that you want to do without expecting anything in return. I mean, I see somebody, okay, I'll give you an example. Today, I went for a coffee. Are you familiar? Starbucks is this ridiculous chain that they have. I don't go there. I go to small places, but it was near where I was. So I
support small business. Yeah.
Small business is better too. Better coffee, better service. Anyways, so I was there, I was drinking, and then in walked this lady, and she had a carriage, baby carriage, but there was no baby in it. She had dolls. And you could see she wasn't very stable mentally. But she was sitting there. And everybody just passing her like she wasn't like she wasn't there. They didn't want to have eye contact just in case. So I'm not saying this for any other reason. I'm just telling you because we have this. So I walked up to the counter to the girls there. I said, can I please pay for a coffee or for something else that this lady wants? They said, okay. I paid. They didn't know what she wanted. They would ask her. I said, no, don't ask her in front of me. I don't want her to know that I did it. And the girls thanked me. So if I was thinking the way you're saying, what am I supposed to get out of this woman? What is she supposed to do for me? I did it because I would have liked someone to do it for me if I was in her place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes you feel good.
Yeah. Apart from the fact that it makes us feel good, I think there's this statement I heard where the man was like, I think it was from a movie though, where the doctor is a black doctor and he's a very good doctor, like really good in terms of like one of the best. And so they had a terrible experience with a white police officer, and the police officer abused their physical assault and all that. But something else happened, that the police officer was in an accident that they actually needed. It was, how they're like, it's 50-50, but it depends on who is doing the surgery. So if it's so slight that the best of the best has to do it, else the person is not going to survive. And then I think the son of the doctor was like, but Dad, look at the way this man treated us. You're still going to do the surgery? Won't you have malicious intent? Because, you just disappeared.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's like, won't you have malicious intent? Because, he did all this stuff. And the statement he said that still resonates with me today is that he said, I am a righteous man and my righteousness does not depend on the circumstance or the people. And I was like, ooh, wow.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So doing unto others what we want them to do is It's just that it's a presumption that we love ourselves. And so if we love ourselves, we want to be kind to ourselves. We want to care for ourselves. So we'll be kind to people, to care for people. Not because we want them to do those things back to us, but it's just to say that you love yourself, love other people too.
Yeah. If everyone, I think, was to understand what we are, that we're a part of God, we're His children, we are energy, and if you don't want to take it religious or spiritual or anything else, just think about it as the energy, an eternal energy that breathes life into everything. We're part of that energy. How can you not love that? It's an eternal energy. You are it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we're all
Yeah.
connected. We like it or not, we're all the same.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for this conversation and for sharing your favorite quote. What do you do? And you made mention of your books. What are the books about? And yeah, for those that they listen to you and they're like, yeah, I love this guy's mentality. I love the way he talks. I'd love to learn more about him and just keep a tab on and check out all these other things he does. Where can
So
they do that?
yeah, if they go to my website, GiorgioMichailidis.com, you can find a few of my books. One of them is Be Like a Baby's. So I try to emphasize the philosophy of going back to feeling and thinking and being present at the moment and starting your day like that and progressing your day like that. The other book would be When the Heart Speaks, God Listens. And that's more of a personal journey and what I've been through and how I have seen God in my life and how everything has changed for me. And this is why I'm talking. And hopefully I can touch somebody and change their life.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast, and thank you
I
so much
really appreciate you.
for this
Thank you.
amazing chat.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And do unto others as you want done unto you.
Thanks for listening to Relatable Wisdom. If you found something meaningful in this episode, make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. If you'd like to support the show, you can do that by buying me a coffee. The link is in the show notes. Every little bit keeps the conversations going. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep growing.